Welcome back, my lovely friends. I, once again, am your friendly neighborhood FreeMelon Eli Martyr, welcoming you back to another episode on the FreeMelon Society. So, if you already know what's up, you're already conversant with all the literature and all the teachings that I've given you on this channel. You know that you're not supposed to be eating of most of the cultural foods, all of the nonsense that's all, being promulgated out there as quote-unquote healthy. Got all kinds of lectures for those. You can go through the channel and check them out yourself. You know you're supposed to be eating a raw food, plant-based diet. You know that you're only supposed to be eating foods that are naturally suited to your biology. Okay, so you'll notice that I don't have too many diet and recipe related videos on this channel. And the reason for that is because when you eat naturally, it really is obvious kind of what you're supposed to eat. There's not much guesswork. If I've eliminated cooking and if I've eliminated elaborate food preparation, and I've eliminated spices and all the other stimulating flavorings that, you would put in food to make it more palatable. If you get rid of all of that, what are you left with? You're left with the fruits, some soft leafy green veggies, and some nuts. So it's pretty self-explanatory what you eat. You just eat those things. And of course, you use your own particular tastes to tailor what it is that you like to eat. However, I've been asked many times, what did you eat on your transition from a vegan diet to a raw food diet? What are some good meals that help to get the ball rolling to get you to that fully raw, fully plant-based state? So I'm here to help, and I'm going to give you 10 meal ideas that will serve that purpose. You can mix and match anything you want according to your own tastes. No hard and fast rules here, just a general guideline and some of the foods that I personally used when I was transitioning to more raw food exclusive diets. And last little note, whenever I say greens in this list, by greens I mean soft leafy greens only. I'm not referring to broccoli and tubers and legumes, cauliflower, dense vegetables, things that you need to cook usually to be palatable. Things that if you were just to take a bite out of, you would spit them, like they're gross. Okay, let's be honest. Lots of vegetables are pretty gross, and that's because you're not necessarily supposed to be eating them. But soft leafy greens, that's what I'm talking about. Spinach, romaine, lettuce, basil, alfalfa sprouts, microgreens, red clover, Swiss chard, arugula, all of the soft, very soft water content leafy greens. That's what I mean when I say greens. And of those, you can select any ones that you want from 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 variations, probably no more, of soft leafy greens whenever I say greens in these recipes. I will also not be talking at all about nutrition. Minerals and vitamins and DHAs and fat, right? None of this you need to think about. This is just going to be foods. And if you focus on foods that are designed for your biology, nutrition tends to take care of itself. So there will be no mention of any nutrition whatsoever here. It's one of the things that you shouldn't be worrying about when you eat naturally. Okay? All right. So here we go. Meal number 1, banana and dates. If you're trying to That would be my telephone. Anytime you're trying to bust a food craving, if you've got a food craving for old foods, right? You're trying to be raw, you want to satisfy it, you want those sweet potatoes or whatever, go grab bananas and go grab dates. Tons of bananas. And I'm talking bananas, okay? You can have 6, 7, 8 bananas in a meal. Crush them all up, make them into a nice pulp, and then chop up some dates and eat that. Nothing destroys craving for other foods more than that infusion of wholesome, sweet, creamy banana goodness with those chopped up dates. Trust me, you won't regret it. I've had enough banana and dates to feed an army. Meal number 2, avocados and sun-dried tomatoes with green onions and greens. Okay? Remember, greens meaning any combination of the greens that I listed above. That combo of avocado and sun-dried tomatoes is so tasty. I would suggest soaking the sun-dried tomatoes for maybe 15 minutes or so in water to help soften them. And then you put the softened sun-dried tomatoes in the avocado mix. And then to that mix, you add your greens and some chopped up green onions. Beautiful bowl, tastes incredible. The avocado obviously gives it that creamy texture that you're probably craving and will help, again, to dissolve food cravings for other less natural foods. One note though, it can be very difficult to find sun-dried tomatoes that are not treated with sulfites and salts. Okay, so you have to double check before you get whatever sun-dried tomatoes. Just make sure that they are actually just sun-dried tomatoes, no salt, no sulfites, nothing added, okay? If you cannot find sun-dried tomatoes that are just pure tomatoes, opt for regular tomatoes. Don't go for sun-dried, okay? So, meal number 3, bananas and blueberries. Very much like meal number 1, banana and dates, a little bit less dense and a little bit less calorie loaded. The bananas and the blueberries, super tasty. Really crushed banana you could add to almost any of the spectrum of sweet fruits and have a wonderful meal prepared for yourself. Bananas and blueberries just tends to hit the spot. The only drawback to this is that organic blueberries are a bit expensive. So maybe you might want to have your banana and blueberries to start off your meal and then have a veggie meal after that, about 20 minutes after your fruit meal. And then you'll be nice and satiated, and that's a good way to go about it. Meal number 4. You're going to make a salad of greens, peppers, and nuts. I prefer pistachios, but any nut will do. And then as a sauce, you're going to use blended up carrot in a Vitamix or other blender and tomato. Try not to add water to this mixture. You're not really supposed to be having water with any of your food. That's meant for a separate time outside of your meal. So you take your blended carrot and tomato sauce and you pour it over your salad and you eat. Very simple, very quick. The nuts add a very nice crunch and a bit of that fat content to help satiate you. Again, a very, very tasty meal. You can add, if you choose, some chopped up onions to this, sweet onions or green onions, like we mentioned above. That's a good way to add extra flavor. But that carrot and tomato sauce, if you're trying to replace oils and salts and whatnot from your diet, and you want to get rid of those because you know they're not healthy, right? This blended tomato and carrot sauce is a great alternative, and I highly recommend that for your salads. Meal number 5, okra, cucumber, peppers, and onion. Sweet onions. The okras have a wonderful taste. And no, you do not have to cook okras. Okras are one of the most interesting fruits that you can find, right? They look like vegetables. Most people treat them like vegetables. They're actually fruits. You can eat them raw, and they are quite tasty. I've had snacks of just raw okra before and really enjoyed it. So mixing the okra with the cucumber and the peppers with a little bit of chopped up sweet onions, it just combines for a very, very lovely meal. Try it, see how you like it. You can add a little bit of that carrot tomato sauce to this if you like. You could add avocado if you like, but I tend to find that I preferred avocado mixes with other salads that didn't include okra. Okra has enough of a flavor on its own to carry the taste of the meal. So okra, cucumber, pepper, and a little bit of onion. If you want to add greens to this mix or you want to add nuts to this mix, go right ahead. Meal number 6, TPT. I made a video for what TPT is. Please go and check that out. Essentially, it's tomato, peppers, and tomato. Some of the tomatoes are blended up for a sauce, and then the rest of the tomatoes are just sliced up with peppers. This serves as a wonderful base that you can eat on its own, or you can add other vegetables to that TPT mix. So check out my TPT video. You're really going to like it. Meal number 7. This was one of my favorites. Now, I will be breaking one of my rules for this meal, cooked pineapple. Cooked pineapple is, as the name suggests, cooked. However, because you're cooking just a simple fruit, one mono fruit, the damage that's done is minimal. And if you're trying to transition to more raw foods, sometimes, lightly cooking some fruits or some vegetables, can help you. Especially if you're eating these in the absence of spices and stimulants, right? Remember, it's a transition. You're slowly trying to wean off of all the bad stuff and get to the good stuff. And this is going to help you. Cooked pineapple tastes ridiculously sweet. Okay, when you add a bit of heat to the fruits, the sugars tend to concentrate because a little bit of the water content will evaporate and be lost. So some of the nutrition is lost, yes. But the sugars tend to concentrate when that happens. And so what you get is something tasting ridiculously sweet. If you try this with bananas, I guarantee you'll never need sugar ever again. Cooked banana tastes like heaven. So does cooked pineapple. So run to the store, grab a pineapple, cut it up into thick slices. Thick slices will work a little bit better. Turn on your oven to whatever degree of heat, maybe 350 or so. maybe 400. Put the pineapples in, let them go for a bit until they start to steam. Flip them over, get the other side, cook to your heart's content, and then enjoy. Meal number 8. This is also another meal that is breaking my rule, but it applies and serves its purpose for the transition, like I mentioned before. Steamed Brussels sprouts and nuts. Steamed Brussels sprouts are very, very, very tasty. They become very soft, but they retain that crunch, a little bit of that crunch that is so familiar in our cooked food diet regime. So steamed Brussels sprouts, lightly steamed Brussels sprouts are going to serve you very well. You add pistachios to this, my personal favorite. Pistachios I find have the richest taste out of the nuts. So you add pistachio to sliced up or diced up steamed Brussels sprouts, and you are in for a very tasty treat. You may add avocado to this if you like. However, when it comes to nuts and avocados, try to add one or the other. So if it's going to be Brussels sprouts and avocados, that's the meal. If it's Brussels sprouts and nuts, that's the meal. You can add other greens to this if you like. You can also add tomatoes to this if you like. But for simplicity's sake, I just liked steamed Brussels sprouts and nuts. Very tasty. Maybe a little bit of tomato just to add some water content. And trust me, you're going to love it. Meal number 9, jackfruit, straight jackfruit. As with all of the fruits, okay, like I said before, eating naturally is very easy. Just go and pick whatever goddamn fruit you want and eat it as a meal, okay? Buy papaya and eat it. Buy fruit and eat it, right? Okay. Yes, that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm teaching you. Jackfruit in particular is so incredibly tasty and very hearty that I would strongly recommend you just buy that and eat that as a meal. You'd have to go to an Asian grocery store, someone that sells jackfruit. You might not be able to find it, in which case, whatever. Just go after any other meal on this list or any other meal that you like. But if you can find jackfruit, that's a meal. Don't cook it. Don't do anything. Just eat the goddamn jackfruit. It's incredible, and it will help you transition to a raw food diet. Meal number 10, greens, walnuts, and raisins. That combination, can't go wrong with that. Raisins have traditionally been a very nice addition to any salad. So you can add into your green mix some raisins and some walnuts for that crunchy texture that we all love to crave. Of course, if you want a little bit of water content, then you can add some tomatoes to that. But for simplicity's sake, greens, raisins, and walnuts, fantastic meal. And the last bonus meal that I will give you, something that I really, really liked. Tomatoes! Oh my god, wow, what a complex idea. Tomatoes, yes. If you slice up tomatoes and you add a little bit of heat, again, breaking my rule, adding a little bit of heat, you don't need to cook them, but if you just warm them up, okay, just enough heat so that they're warm. You should be able to dip your finger in your pot and not burn your finger off when you're warming up these tomatoes. Slice up a whole bunch of tomatoes. I don't care how many. You can eat as many as you want, right? It's really no limits. Just grab a whole bunch of tomatoes, organic, slice them up, throw them in the pot, warm them up, and eat them. You'd be surprised how pleasing a bowl full of warm tomatoes is. It's a fantastic meal, and it's super, super simple. Highly recommend it. That is my bonus meal on this list of foods that will help you transition to a raw food diet. What is going to happen to your body when you start eating a natural, simple mind you, raw food diet? You are going to start to get very, very clean and very healthy. Your body will start to purge all of the excesses out of all of the tissues in your body. All the fats and the waste products from your muscles will squeeze and condense. Subcutaneous fat stores will drain and squeeze and purge. You're going to become streamlined and leaner and cleaner and healthier. You'll have a more abundant supply of energy. Everything just tends to work better when you adopt this diet. You ever wonder why animals in nature tend to be all of the same general body shape, right? You don't really find zebras that are massively obese, extremely fat, pretty fat, normal, slim, skinny, emaciated, right? These massive variations you don't usually find in nature. And that's because most animals, unless they're domesticated of course, eat naturally, right? So what happens? Nature tends to streamline them into a place where their bodies are where they generally should be. Why would humans be any different? Humans are designed to be of a general characteristic, right? But it's only when we eat as we eat in culture that you have all of these huge variations in body shapes and sizes. You have got everything to gain by eating like this, and I couldn't encourage it strongly enough. My lovely aspiring FreeMelons, thank you so much for joining me once again here on the FreeMelon Society. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so, and make sure to hit the like button. We've got more great content coming your way. Please share this video with your friends if there's anyone that you feel that could benefit from this lecture. I really hope it helped, and I hope it gave you some ideas, as much as these ideas really, no one needs to tell you. They're pretty self-intuitive. That's the great thing about this diet that I'm promoting. It's not a diet. It's just what humans eat. I'm telling you what humans are supposed to eat, right? It's really a no-brainer. But if you are curious about some of the ways that I went about doing it, then this is how I went about doing it. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much again, guys, and I will see you next time on the FreeMelon Society.